Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Relatively good runs lately. Solid wins, good daily performances, more or less. Oh my god, cutting my life into pizzas. 0QWFTZSW. Starting with Void. Terrible rate of fire. That's been like a recurring theme. Damage is okay, speed's okay. Range, you know, range is one of those things. If it ain't bad, it's fine. It's good enough. You know, it's DAE Boolean logic. Is acceptable equals true. Well, technically, and see, now I'm going way too far into the DAE train, because you wouldn't make a variable named is acceptable. Probably you would make a method called is acceptable that returns a var called accept. You see, like, it's just, I don't know what to do if the commentary's not DAE. Anyway, please, thank you, sir. Move into the corner. What a strange floor. It's like upside down T. Very little secret room potential. I think it's got to be adjacent to the intersection at the bottom left there. It is gonna, I mean, these episodes go up essentially in sequential order from whence they're recorded. So you're gonna see yesterday's daily, assuming you watched them all at this point, which you better, because I keep track of that sort of stuff rigorously. Daryl, I know you've been skipping on watching your Isaac episodes lately. Take your digital medicine. Daryl. What I mean to suggest, but I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about those beans, of course, but I'm also thinking about getting that potato peeler just to give me a modest, like a very, very modest damage upgrade. Not even like, sometimes they'll be like, oh, modest damage upgrade. It's like +1. This is like plus 0.16 or something like that. But a first level cube of meat as well, but it would put us at 1 HP. We can't really afford, oh man, Angry Fly is just terrible. It's just not very good. I can't really afford to go down to 1 HP, and I can't really afford, certainly, to void the potato peeler. So you can see how it puts me in kind of a difficult spot here, I think. You know what? It'll be fun. It's plus 0.2. What was I complaining about? That's 0.1 or 0.039 better than I expected it to be. My math's a little off. Repeating, of course. So I went down to 1 HP. This is not like a high testosterone. People, sometimes you make a decision in this game. People go, high T! It is a risky, oh no. I got killed by an enormous sperm. It's a risky decision, but it was just born out of laziness. I don't want to fight these enemies with a 3 damage, 13 rate of fire. We might as well speed it up a little. This is, oh my... I'm probably gonna die. But we have Lusty Blood, which is why I was like so excited to see this start. I didn't even look at the HP really. I just got I got excited. I saw the curse room. Please. Well, I guess we will be killed then. The great run. See you later. All right, we're at -2 streak. That's just about the fastest that's ever happened. Oh, look at this. Great rate of fire. Good damage. XV97. Burgers. All right. So, my apologies, a little bit of a silly start, but you know I am very much, if I got a 1 streak, 2 streak, 3 streak, 8 streak, I'm not gonna sweat a loss too much. Maybe that's why I haven't been able to get back to a 100 streak in a long time. But I mean, like, it's also, it's almost refreshing to see a loss, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Remember, we're not even, not sweating it, because any streak that we have right now is illegitimate anyway, as a result of the fact that I don't have all the items unlocked. Well, sorry, I have them all unlocked, I think. I don't have them all recorded, though, so we're not at 1,000,001% yet. We gotta be closing in, dude. Like, we've been, I can't believe I don't have 31 dailies yet. I might actually, now that I've come, no, I guess we would have gotten an achievement when we finished it, right? Yeah, I don't know. Thank you. Alright, we gotta remember, we got no reason to rush. We're doing fine. Slow your roll. Couple of early losses there. Nothing to write home about. Let's have some fun. What are we looking for in particular? There's a couple of items that have just snuck away from us. We need Epic Fetus, which is probably a rare item now that I think about it, so no guarantees there. We need maybe Cuba meatball of bandages. One of the two or both of the two. We need unicorn stump, as strange as it sounds, or may sound, depending on whether or not you're Daryl and you've been skipping out on your daily Isaac medicine. Ace of Hearts. Can't enter there. You think it looks like a secret room? It's like gateway, yeah, to the secret room here. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Now, do you drop? That was not a great idea on my part. Do you drop a key piece? I would love to get angel rooms, dude. I like deals with the angel. They're a little bit more interesting, albeit usually less potent than a deal with the devil. To get that happening on the first floor would be pretty cool. Alright, well, you've really done it to yourself, okay? I didn't want to do it like this, but you forced my hand. Still not dead, huh? I mean, it's floor 1. How are you so strong? I don't want to give up my spirit hearts, like, oh my lord. It's like, leave it to a first floor Gideon fight to feel like you're actually trash when the run's actually surprisingly pretty great. We do get a key piece. Please locomote a little further. Thank you so much. I don't like that you're immune when you shoot. I think that's a little cheesy, but okay. So we got a key piece, which is worth nothing right now, but in the future it could be worth slightly more than nothing. So get excited. Essentially, I'm being very silly right now. Usually a self-sacrifice room is not going to be the right play. And by usually, I mean like straight up almost always. But I'm like, if we get 3 cents, we play Ace of Hearts and we can put ourselves in a cool spot. I don't really want to fight another angel statue, but I could get like a luck upgrade or something, I think. I could get a 100% chance of a deal with the angel. How ironic. I had the Boo, she had the Chronic. The Lakers beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Using Ace of Hearts, can you turn a half heart into a full heart? I never really considered that because Ace of Hearts is bad, and I try to, you know, make a habit of not really using it because its existence is an affront to Isaac's strategy. A lot of money back there. 1 bomb for 7 cents is just a glorious deal. And actually, to be honest, I'm not the world's biggest fan of the bean as far as items go, but I do have to admit that if you're on the first floor, you could do worse. You know, once per room makes it, the medicine goes down a little smoother, you know? The fact that the item's not that good is mitigated somewhat. I almost said slumwhat. It's mitigated somewhat by the fact that you can use it so frequently, so... You know, our stats are not blowing anybody away here, but, overall, I think the run's okay right now. It all, I mean, essentially comes down to this deal. As much as I'd love to preserve the deal with the devil, or deal with the angel precedent, or, you know, waiting that we have right now, which I hear is the hardest part, but if we have a good deal with the devil, I think we pretty much, you know, we have an obligation to take it. Ooh. What I would love to see is just like item room, shop, whatever. It gives us good DPS, and then we can afford to ignore a good devil room. Maybe get angel rooms in the future. But, you know, that's kind of like a... You ever hear the expression, beggars can't be choosers? No? Yeah, well, that's because I just literally made it up right now. And I'm a genius. Don't question it. Alright. Monsters shouldn't be too bad. I can't believe we're like 10 minutes into the video. Finally made it down to the 2nd floor. Things are looking down from an Isaac-related content. So you start the episode, you say things are good. It gets reflected. Things are not looking so good at a point here. I think it's all the hairstyle, man. Lunch. Ugh. Well, let's see. Gimpy? Rotten Baby? It's actually like 2 of the better 1 heart items you can get. Gimpy with positive luck is something I haven't seen in a little while, unfortunately. And Rotten Baby's just good. Rotten Baby's just a nice get. So that's probably a secret room back there. We might be able to get enough money to go to the shop because we had that room back there that could give us 7 cents for a single bomb. Shoop the Whoop is so good though. Okay, let's check the curse room. We're unlikely to get a deal next floor anyway. We could still get a deal with the angel, by the way, by playing a self-sacrifice room. So don't think I've just given up on my dream there. Trying to be better about those rooms. Like, we know that if we play our cards right, we should be able to open... It just feels like this is the secret room. Alright, you got me. That's why I try not to do things by feel, I suppose. What about, this just feels like the second secret room, but for real this time? Like, super really? Yeah, okay. Hey. Look, it's an item that's as good as lunch. Alright, down to the next floor. No, being bitter's a bad look. I'm prepared. Not for that, though. I hate this room. You know, this is like a living embodiment of the galaxy brain meme, but it's like, you know, smallest galaxy brain hating a room where you're forced to take damage. Largest galaxy brain hating that room where it's probably pretty easy to avoid taking damage unless your run is like strong enough. Don't make this, by the way. This is a bad meme. I've overcommitted to a bad meme and now I'm stuck with it. I only tell you, sometimes I tell you to make memes. I only tell you to make good ones. No, this is stupid. Why on earth is I'm excited working over the course of multiple floors? That's like an affront to... It's that combined with Ace of Hearts. They're affronts to Isaac gameplay. I'm sorry to tell you. It's the darn truth. Ooh, thank you. Why? No, I know. I understand. Disregard. I was going to ask why our deal with the devil chance went up. Well, it went up because we had walked out of a room on which we took damage. But we still are at 9% because we took damage on the floor. Shouldn't have to remind myself of that, but sometimes, you know, sometimes you gotta. It's like, oh my god, another I'm excited. Sometimes I gotta remind myself, like, which way's north in the city and which way's south, east, west, etc., because, believe it or not, even in the era of Google Maps, people still, they look at me in the street sometimes. Not on the regular basis, you know, I'd say maybe like once or twice a year. And they go like, hey, can you give me directions to this? And I go, you know, you're gonna head left on this road? I should really just be giving them cardinal directions. I always think, like, asking people for directions is kind of dangerous, because there was one situation. First off, just use the algorithms that, you know, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, etc., have already built. I don't want to say, like, you know, give all power over to our technocratic overlords, but, like, the algorithm is better. Is better than the human brain. The human brain, you might be disagreeing with me on this. It's not going to give you better directions than Google Maps. You might have a little bit of, like, different knowledge and be like, oh, but don't take Ninth Street because, you know, the bridge gets backed up around this time, so go this way instead. Sure. But, like, by and large, that's going to be the exception rather than the rule. If you ever, like, miss an exit by not paying attention, you've already given up the human advantage that you had in this case. But one time, I was in university, and I was walking home from class. Somebody pulled over on the street and said, hey, can you tell me where Montana's is? And I've lived in this town, or at the point that this story takes place, I had lived in this town my whole life. I know where Montana's is. I'm downtown. I go, hey, head this way until you hit, you know, Gardner's Road. You're going to take a left there, and then you're going to look for the Real Can Center, and there's going to be a Montana's there. And he left, and I felt like a good Samaritan, and only like an hour later did I realize, oh my god, I told him to go in the wrong direction on this street. So he actually drove further away from the establishment that he was trying to get to, and it is my fault, admittedly. But it's also, I mean, it's his fault for not knowing the way in the first place. And for wanting to go to Montana's. Ew. When there's a Denny's in the same plaza? Anyway, the point is, what I should have said, and what I've said many times in the past after that anecdote is, sorry, I don't know. Even if I do think I know, unless I'm 100% confident, I don't want to give them the advice anymore, because if they're wrong, I'll justifiably feel kind of bad. You know, I've wasted their time. I've sent them on the wrong road. This is going to sound like it's made up, but recently we went to a Canucks game, and we were walking down the street on the way home and to the train station, somebody pulled over, and they were clearly not from around here, and that's fine. But they like got out of their car and they were like, "Casino?" And I was like, "Nah, this isn't the casino. Casino is like you go this way, this way, this way." I want to tell them like, "Hey, if you're going to the casino, maybe swing by the Canadian Tire on Broadway and Canby and pick up a GPS." I'm not telling you what to do with your money at all. I'm just saying if you're looking for a testimonial, it's a life-saving invention. You just, sometimes some of them you can even just talk into them and be like, "This is where I want to go," and they'll be like, "We're finding one for you." It's amazing. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just saying if you're taking $200 to the casino, maybe pick up a GPS. It's not, you know, I don't think it should be mandatory to, like, it should be illegal to drive without a GPS. No, I don't think so. Sometimes our nav system is wrong. Sometimes it lies to us. Sometimes it tells us, hey, turn here, and it's a one-way street, you know? And you're going the wrong way down a one-way street. What happens actually in Vancouver, because it's a caricature of a West Coast city, is that it'll tell you to turn right on Arbutus Street, and then you turn right, and you're like, oh, this lane exists, and not just this lane, but like this neighborhood exists only for bicycles. You can only, and this is not a joke, by the way. This is, and I support it. I really do, because I'm a caricature of a coastal elite, I guess. But whenever I turn onto the street, I'm like, oh, more colorful language. This, oh gosh darn it. But then I go, well, I defend their right to do it. Sure, it's an inconvenience, but at the same time, man, I bet that's nice. Yeah, I gotta come back here with my Huffy. I don't bike a Huffy. I don't bike much at all these days because it's, you know, cold and rainy in the winter season. But you think that's the Schwinn? All right, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna probably take this deal with the devil if it's got. Oh. Now we're talking. Why on earth did I take the razor blade? I'm just gonna give you the honest answer. Wait a minute, am I brain dead? I might be brain dead. I gotta be honest with you. I'm kind of like, I think I'm coming down with something, and I'm just gonna say it. Ooh, That's what I'm coming down with. The sickness. The flu, I think, has crossed international barriers, and it has made it up to Canada, and that's okay. I didn't get my flu shot this year. Here it was only 10% effective, but I could have mitigated my chances. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not the flu. Maybe I'm just feeling a little off today. That's what I'm going to use as my excuse for picking up the razor blade when I already had Shoop de Whoop. Also, in my brain, at least temporarily, I had thought maybe I have never gotten the razor blade, but I think, weirdly enough, the razor blade is the item I've asked that about the most and have totally, oh my lord, excuse me, have totally already gotten. We shouldn't die here. Could, but should not. So we're just gonna... I'm actually, like, pretty unnervous about this. Probably will not go to the curse room, though. We're just gonna work our way to the shop. Get a little money. Aquarius isn't good enough. And we got an item and a consumables worth of cash left. Loki's horn with brimstone is actually pretty interesting, but not good enough to be excited about, in my opinion. Sure. I'll take euthanasia. It's my favorite POD song. We are the euthanasias. I always thought, like, it was very bold of them to make such a political statement in that song. Degas. Very useful. Okay. I mean, we do have Gimpy. So 1.63 luck is nice. Maybe getting a luck upgrade, I should say, is nice. I don't know. You kind of look at this and you go, maybe you do go to the curse room. Maybe you do like an Algiz curse room, but then you got to go back. I don't really want to go back. I'm not the critically acclaimed song by Coldplay, The Scientist, so I prefer not to go back to the start. Just noticed. We're like really in the market for a damage upgrade. This is extremely bad. Because I'm so tempted to use my cube of meat on this guy. And it's such a bad decision, it doesn't even warrant explanation. It's just, like, obviously not what you should do. Hey, Tomo. But it... Oh! Yeah, there you go. Bust up his spawn. As soon as this guy gets off center, like, you're in heaven. No! I think I will take Black Rune. I don't know. Black Rune is, like, statistical improvement. That's what we need. We're at 15 minutes on Catacombs, too. We're so far behind schedule for Boss Rush. Man, what is going on? The deal with the Devil's closed, unfortunately, because we could have sucked up Razor Blade. You want to come in, Tomo? No? No, Tomo? That's fine. It's not like, you know, your father or anything. Well, there's not really much you can do, you know? Winston Churchill said it best: when you're going through heck, keep going. Only he didn't say heck. Which, I don't know, man. Was that very statesman-like of him? I mean, he was fighting the equivalent of an evil empire at the time. But still. Is that something to lose your manners over? My producer's looking over and they're saying, yes. Yes, it is. And I say, okay, you know, I default to what they tell me. I also like to pretend I have a producer on this show. It's kind of like what you do when you've been making internet media for a while, right? You get a producer. You get somebody you can yell at to pull up videos for you. I don't have that. Instead, I was thinking about it the other day. You know, I was watching The Simpsons while I was folding some laundry. Not that I owe you an explanation, okay? It's a solid show, especially in its older seasons. I don't need to answer to you. I don't need to answer to anybody. Maybe I need to answer to you. You do kind of buy my groceries, more or less. Okay, anyway, the point is, I was watching The Simpsons while I was folding laundry. And they did like a little Family Guy thing where they go... Ooh, let's try this. Barcano. They went like, that was just like the time I got you know, the wrong order at Krusty Burger. And then they show a clip of Homer going like, wait a minute. This cheeseburger is a sneeze burger. This is like a made up anecdote, but like, the gist of it is the same. Ooh, I love that. I would like a key though. And I was like, am I doing this media thing all wrong? Because all I do is I try to introduce, I can't actually show you because of the nature of like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I can't show you the things I'm referencing, like that commercial from Apple where the 16-year-old girl says, what's a computer, despite using an iPad and being like an adult in the 21st century. Like, obviously she knows what a computer is. The commercial is insulting, but at the very least I admitted, memorable. I'm talking about it. I can't show you that commercial. Instead, I just got to, I've got to reference it, and then you have to look it up for yourselves. It's really like, I wish I could cut out the middleman. Well, I wish someone would cut out the middleman for me. Let's be honest. Dagaz, please. Hagalaz. That's not Dagaz. Yera. Perthro. Awaz. Please. Yera. I mean, we might as well Yera. Then you take a Black Rune or a Perthro. Do we have Curse of the... No, we don't have Curse of the Unknown. So I think we'll Perthro first. Yeah, I'm okay with this. We'd like to see if we get something we'd rather have from Gish, instead of just immediately turning it into what honestly could be like a range or a shot speed increase. But we also, like, more than anything else, we want either rate of fire, which is not amazing right now, or we want damage, which is actually terrible right now. This is good. As long as we live through the Krampus fight, it's good. It would be helpful if I didn't walk into my own bombs. Yeah, we're alright. So, Brimstone Lump of Coal used to work. I don't think it does anymore. So we've gotten a Guppy item that actually could bring us back to life. Even if it does give us a little bit more damage, I think this is probably better. And then, gonna take another per throw back here. If it's HP, we have to take it. I actually think I have to take speed. 0.92 is not enough. Then what we'll do is, and I'm not a huge fan of doing this right now because it's, dare I say the B word, that is a cardinal sin in broadcasting. It's a little boring, but we do have to go back to our shop. I need to buy a spirit heart or, you know, something along those lines that can carry me here. Yeah, and that's like exactly what happened, so lucky us.
I can see.
Yeah, well, quit bragging about it, buddy. I cannot see forever. I might... let me put it this way. I'm not legally blind without my glasses. I definitely would call a taxi if I somehow broke my glasses after driving somewhere, because I wouldn't trust myself to drive home. It's kind of a morbid thing to think about, but I would probably be safer driving drunk than I would be without my glasses. And that's, I'm not condoning that, obviously. I've never driven drunk. We talked about it on the NLSS like a couple weeks ago, you know? It's just, it's surprisingly easy not to ever put yourself in a position where you even can. You just don't drive your car to the bar, and then it turns out that it's easy enough. And I respect the opposite. I dispute the notion that what I just said was a controversial statement. I shouldn't be driving under either of those circumstances, but without my glasses on is like, actually, you would rather me be on the road under the influence of anything, I think, than with my, like, you know, 2300 vision or something like that, or 320. What's the bad one? 300? Anyway, I'm blind enough that whenever I fill out a form, like for the census, for example, and they go, this is not a joke, by the way, it's just I don't know how to fill out the form. They go like, do you have any, you know, physical disabilities? And I go, maybe I should check the box that says visually impaired? Like, I'm not blind. Like, with glasses, I see, I'm assuming as well as the average person on Earth does. But, I mean, I am, like, literally, oh, thank you, Guppy. I think we'll get rid of Shoop the Whoop now. Even though it's still actually pretty nice. Like, I am literally, like, visually impaired. But I don't think that's the spirit of what they're going for on the, on the form. I don't think that's really what they're looking for. Is, yeah, it says here you're marked visually impaired. Can you go into detail? Well, once every 2 years I need a new prescription. But literally, like, I am visually impaired. It's weird because, like, I've told this story on the NLSS as well, but I didn't get glasses until I was 10 years old. And it was because I was watching the Super Bowl from, like, 6 feet away. And I said, like, hey, Mom, what's the score? And she was like, what do you mean, what's the score? I'm like, you can read? She's nice. She's a nice lady, but I'm just getting, the sentiment of it was like, why would you need me to tell you the score? And I was like, I can't really read. It's a little blurry. And she's like, oh, absolutely, we'll take this. We get to maintain Guppy, so I'm fine with this. So they include them in that, oh my god, like our child can't see very well. You might think that that's like a dereliction of parental duty, but I mean, how else are you supposed to know? Like, as a kid, if you had good vision, first, as a kid was a skid, no one knew me by name. I crashed my own house party because nobody came. But beyond that, like, you don't know what other people see like. I just assumed everybody saw like I saw. And sure, sometimes it was like, I can't really see the blackboard that well when we were in class, but I was still getting, like, good grades, so it wasn't like I was flunking out or anything like that. But my eyes were so bad when I took my eye test that the optometrist and my parents thought that I was joking. Like, I was making up the fact that I couldn't see on the board, on, like, the eye test sheet. Not true. But as a kid, you don't know. You just... How are you supposed... It's like color blindness or something like that, I guess. Like... How are you supposed to know until somebody else points it out? You're like, doesn't everybody see like this? I don't know. Maybe not. I can't really speak to it because I'm not colorblind. But I assume that's how it happens for most people. It's not like you know, you pop out of the womb and you go, oh, my eyes are bad. These are below average eyes, you know? Whoa, what is this? Monstro's lung. Dude, I'd go so far as to say, like, if you've never had your eyes checked, you should probably just get it done, just so you know. You're gonna say, like, why bother? I already know my eyes are good, but do you? You might, the answer might be yes. You might also just be really used to having really bad eyes. That's the position I was in. Could have got my whole life like that. It's a scary thought. I'm so slow. So where are we going with this run? I mean, I'm just happy. It looks pretty good for us. Missing no means that we can never be 100% confident that we're going to win, obviously. But I still think our odds are pretty nice. I think they're so good, and our speed is so bad that I'm not even going to go back for that Spirit Heart. And you know what? You can't make me. Oh, I don't see where we... Okay, because I've got the magnet. I'll go pick it up. We've also got money equals power, which is just a really nice get for our present situation. Yeah, I wonder... There's got to be a lot of kids out there working in the same circumstance. Like, I remember pretty vividly going to see my pediatrician. And I was like 7 or 8. And my mom was like, yeah, well, it seems like you can't really see the board that well in school. And then our doctor was born in like the well, he's probably born in like the 1920s, or the 1930s. Was like, you know, his eyes are like average for a kid. He's probably never be a fighter pilot, but he's good to go. Like, well, turns out that's not true, and you should really stop practicing medicine if you haven't already. Not so much because of the misdiagnosis of the fact that I can't friggin' see, more because of the fact that I think you'd literally be like 100 years old. And I don't want to be ageist. I think, you know, the elderly can accomplish almost anything that a young person can accomplish. But I don't want a 100-year-old doctor. I'm sorry to say. Maybe that's offensive and people don't want to hear it. I don't want a 10-year-old doctor either. If one's offensive, the other one should be offensive, alright? So you better be offended by both if you're offended by one. You know, there's genuine mental changes that happen. You lose sharpness. You gain wisdom, you lose sharpness. Hell, man, I'm not as sharp as I was 10 years ago. I think when I was like 16, on January 31st, you could have been like, hey, give me a rundown of like every day in January and what you did. And I'd be like, that's the easiest task I've ever been asked in my whole adult life, which has not even started yet at this point, but you get the idea. Now it's like, hey, what'd you do yesterday? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Probably played Isaac and Slay the Spire. That's my guess right now. Hey, correct. All right. What'd you have for dinner, though? Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, you know what? I remember what I had for dinner. I had bibimbap, because Kate ordered DoorDash. But then the DoorDash guy was late, so I couldn't eat the bibimbap before I went to class. So I was real hungry in class, learning about ADO.net, and I was cheesed off about it. Not at her, but at the delivery person for taking a very circuitous route to get from, oh, hello, place to place. I guess that's what you gotta do. You gotta anchor it in reality, in the situations that you really experienced. I think with Guppy, we just can't lose. We'd have to roll into something truly awful. I think I've still got a good memory. I don't know though, when I was 15, if you had been like, hey, would you be comfortable having a 16-year-old doctor? I'd be like, yeah. They're older than I am, so they must know everything and then a little extra. You get a different perception of that as you get older. So maybe I am being unfair. You know, maybe a 100-year-old doctor. I don't mind a 100-year-old, like, chief of medicine. He's been around the block a few times, you know, he's got... But actually, I would just feel bad for him, I think, or her in this case, I guess, or in any case, even. Because you'd be like, it's a good job. Don't you want to retire? How did this happen? Like, do you hate your family, or I get into problems with the mob? I don't know. This job, I mean, this is a big hospital. See, I've already invented the hospital in my head as well. It's New York City General Hospital. It's like an $800,000 a year position or something like that. Why are you still working? I don't understand. And why are you so spry? I mean, you're 100. Are you a cyborg? Are you? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He turns around. I told you I would be back. As the chief surgeon at New York City General Hospital. My voice has changed slightly, but I assure you I am the same Arnold Schwarzenegger you have grown to love in the films The Terminator from 80 years ago. Yeah, I'm probably getting sick. This whole thing's like a fever dream. Hey. I thought I was the chief medical officer, the CMO of this HOSPITAL, hey. Ah, get out of here, you wouldn't know the difference between a cardiac infarction and a pulmonary embolism, Sylvester. Ah! It's not very nice, you know. I can fix an encephaly, but I can't fix whatever's wrong with you, Arnie. Okay, this is what happens when you spend so much time in this office talking to yourself that you become your own #1 source for amusement. It's like if I want to laugh, take some responsibility. Put the pressure's on me. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Friends till the end. Well, got a sort of a weird looking facial situation, but everything else about it is going okay right now. And honestly, after the kind of dubious finish to our, we have kidney stone. The dubious finish to our runs when we started this, it's a lot better now. I wish there was like a third action hero from the 80s. You know, I wonder if I could do a Jason Statham. Oh, listen up, you. That's not Jason Statham at all. Listen up, Sylvester. It's me, Victorian era Jason Statham, as a street urchin in true Dickensian fashion. Now I'm Australian for some reason. You know, I'd be in the money if I could do a good Jason Statham impression. All I need to do is lower my body fat by about 20%, and I could play young Jason in many movies, such as the Transporter reboot and others, like the Crank reboot. Sadly, alas, I don't know, I can't do the voice, and as a result, that's really the only reason I don't have an 8-pack, is that it doesn't make fiscal sense. It's like I could totally do it. Yeah, it requires discipline, whatever. What does? Playing Isaac once a day, now, that's discipline, dude. Making sure you eat a balanced macronutrient profile and, you know, exercise your major muscle groups on a regular basis, that's easy, dude. So I always love, like, I don't know why, like, as human beings, sometimes we're, like, allergic to praising other people. You know, Christian Bale is one of the most famous stories in Hollywood from the past, like, 20 years. Is he was, like, a human dump truck of muscle, which is not an expression that makes any sense, but bear with me. In Batman Begins, 2003, 2005, somewhere in that vicinity, you know? Next year, 2006, he does The Machinist, drops down to like 110 pounds, skin and bones, basically. Next year, he's in The Dark Knight. He looks again like an MMA fighter or something like that. People look at that thread and go, yeah, well, he has a personal trainer and it's his job, so I'm not that impressed. You know, there are still, like, fat actors. I'm not saying that it's harder for Christian Bale than it is for a regular person. I'm just saying, first off, that's amazing. But secondly, it still requires the same level of discipline. You just have more incentive and admittedly someone helping you, keeping you honest along the way. But it's like, you know, you can't just discount it because he had some advantages that you don't have, you know? That's all I'm trying to say there. Anyway, This goes out to you, Christian Bale. Underappreciated actor. Look him up if you haven't heard of him. I really feel like he's on the rise lately. As of tonight. I sure hope he gets a lot of prestige and doesn't go psycho. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.